Welcome to CrashMagic. In this video we're going to look at the card trick 7. This is a really easy to learn self-working trick that's really powerful. Even though the magician's back is turned for most of this performance, they're still able to reveal the card that the spectator selected. As we're spectatorless, we will go straight into the tutorial and I'll show you exactly how the trick works. So as I said, this trick is totally self-working and there's no setup whatsoever. So you can get your spectator to shuffle the cards to their heart's content, and then you need them to pick 7 cards. Again, this is a totally free choice. They can pick any 7 cards that they like. So let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 2 more. We'll go for these ones, and then we don't need the rest of the pack, so we will move those out the way. So you then spread the 7 cards out in front of your spectator, and then in a second you're going to turn your back, so you need to explain at this point to your spectator what they need to do next. So the first thing they need to do once your back is turned is to select one of these cards. They have free choice to select any of these cards, and then they will look at it while your back is turned. And then you would also explain to them that then they're going to get a number of chances to move that card. So you'd explain to them, say for example they picked this card, they'd look at it and remember it, and then they'd work out the position of their card in these 7 cards. So they can either do that from this side or from this side. So say they chose that card, then from this side their card is in position 1, 2, 3, or from this side their card is in position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can use either the number 3 or 5, and then what they're then going to do is, starting from their card, they're going to count either 3 or 5. So they could count 1, 2, 3, and then they would switch their card with this card, or they could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in which case that would be the same card, but they can go either direction as well. So they could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and switch their card with that one. And the other thing, say for example their card was, say they chose this card, so their card is at position 1, 2, or it's at position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but let's say they chose to use the number 2. So again, while your back is turned, they could count 2, so they could move 1, 2 and then switch their card with this one. But they could count 1, 2, in which case they can't switch the card with itself, so they would just leave their card exactly as it was. Okay, so once you've explained this to your spectator, you would then turn away. So they could have absolutely free choice of which card to pick. So let's say for example they pick this one here. So they would look at and remember that card, the 2 of clubs, and then you would ask them to find the position of their card in the 7. So it's either at position 1, 2, 3, or it's at position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have free choice whether to use the number 3 or 5. So let's say they choose the number 3 and they count 1, 2, 3. So you would ask them to switch their card with the other card and to keep track of where their card is. So to make it easier, I'm just going to down jog that a bit so we can see that that's their card. And the next thing you would ask them to do is remove the 2 outer cards. So these will go. Now you ask them to repeat this again. You would ask them to work out the position their card is now in. So in this case it's either at position 1 or it's at position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can use either the number 1 or 5. So let's say they use the number 5, so they could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they would switch their card with this card. So their card is now here, and again you would then ask them to remove the 2 outer cards. So we now have just 3 cards left, and one last time you would ask them to work out the position of their card. So it's either at position 1 or it's at position 1, 2, 3. So they can choose 1 or 3. Let's say they choose 1. So if they count 1, they then need to switch their card with that card. So their card is now in the middle. Now at this point the magician turns back around and if you follow those steps, it's totally self-working. Their card will always be in the middle position of these three. So then it's a matter of revealing their card. So I would probably give the cards a bit of a mix, keeping track of where their card is, and say, I don't think it's that one, and I don't think it's that one. I think this was your card, the 2 of clubs. So hopefully you can see, as long as you can explain clearly to the spectator what they need to do, this is a fantastic trick, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, that's the end of this video. If you liked it, please like it and subscribe. If you've got any comments, leave them down below, and see you soon.